Hey there, mods and people of Waifuism. It's come to my attention that you're going to have more and more of a problem with the paladins and our goals. I'm sad to hear it, and I think it's pretty clear that we need to address and overcome these problems before approaching kiwifarms. So how about we break down each of the points you made during a run-in with one of the group's instructors. First and foremost, you guys don't seem to believe that grow out and the spamming, doxing, and abuse that comes with it is doing much in the way of real damage, claiming the people of your communities aren't so weak-willed that grow out and its offensive use would do any real harm, that there's no risk of anyone being driven to abandon their love for their waifu or to be put in any real danger. You are wrong. Yes, I believe it's entirely possible, and dare I say likely, that the majority of people have had some kind of experience with grow artists by the time they find the communities of Waifuism, and that experience likely makes a lot of members at least decent at mitigating the external impacts. That said, learning to endure and face grow or abuse on the outside doesn't make it any less painful on the inside. And most people who love characters have the emotions to be scarred by these things. Perhaps some of you mods and higher-ups have become so desensitized that you really think no one feels anything from this at all. If that's true, then I won't lie. I envy you. When BC killed Sayori, I lost everything. My hope, my joy, my will to keep going. Anytime I saw her, it would simply serve as a reminder of how I failed and how she suffered this horrific fate because I wasn't good enough. By the evening of the revival edit, it really felt like it was do what needed to be done or collapse into a hopeless pile of despair, lost to all love forever. I tried to kill off my feelings for Sayori for a long time. I blamed my love for everything. The only way I made it out the other end of that hell was by almost entirely overcoming my fear, self-preservation instincts, and no shortage of sheer dumb luck. It can make people abandon these loves, and it's not to be taken quite so lightly. Even after years of doing this paladin thing, I might be good enough to blast away Goro and dismiss it on the surface, but every picture is like a new knife in my heart. Knowing that these characters people love are being hurt for some sicko's arousal, or to simply spread that hurt to people who love them. I hate to say it, but supposedly becoming strong-willed doesn't do jack shit for actually shielding your heart from pain. It just means you're better at keeping it all bottled up and forgetting about it. This is how the Paladins hope to help people. Through a protected server of empathy and support, the Sanctuary, a place to breathe, to unwind and unload your inner demons on a willing listening ear with nothing to gain from hurting you. To truly be in a place where everyone can be honest and free with themselves. Now, let's address the next point you made during that run-in. That your pain your people do feel doesn't matter because the damage supposedly doesn't do anything. I really hope you aren't this close-minded with other members of your community. It doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't hurt you. Everyone reacts to and feels differently when presented with these kinds of art. Don't you think that even the most timid and vulnerable people should have a place to open up and get some help from other willing people with similar experiences? The idea that all people of your communities must be strong enough to even be considered is the most concerning thing I saw in that conversation. The entire argument of Kekyoin and the kiwifarms is that all waifuists are depraved or mentally ill or what have you. By judging and making decisions for your community under that same blanket, then you're ultimately making the same mistake and having the same problem of stereotyping and assuming things about people that makes kiwifarms so dangerous and what eventually leads to many of their distorted and prejudiced worldviews. Every person is different. Every person handles pain differently. Every person may or may not be strong-willed enough to ensure the damage doesn't do anything. And every person deserves the chance for support, recovery, kindness, companionship, and a chance to help others. That is who the Paladins are. Now, for your last point, it actually made me laugh a little when I first saw it. You claimed my actions seemed like someone controlling others for their own game rather than wanting to actually help waifuism. In response to that, I just have one main question. What gain? How do I or the Paladins stand a real chance of gaining or bettering from this situation in the slightest? As far as I can think, the most personally beneficial and selfish thing I could do would be to disband the Paladins, swap to a bunch of alt accounts, and try and blend in as an unremarkable background wallflower of a waifuist, living out the rest of my life with Sayori in relative peace. But I could never live with myself if I did that. If I saw a chance to help people, with only myself and other willing people eating the metaphorical cost and I didn't take it, I'd regret it for the rest of my life. I'm willing to place myself in the very thick of the issue, and most directly in harm's way, if it means I might be able to help others. And that's really the most I can offer to try and explain why this is the worst possible thing I could do for my own games. With all that said, the Paladins still need help. I, and by extension the Paladins, really don't want a conflict with you or the people of your communities. We want to be friends, to be able to communicate and work with each other amicably. That said, the Paladins in the group now can only do so much against the kiwifarms. We need more people. Of course, using the Paladins as simply a place of safety and support is just fine, but we also need more active members, so I'd like to make one more recruitment call to the people of Waifuism. Kiwifarms is not going to stop infiltrating and harassing your communities and the people in it until someone is able to stand up to them and tell them enough is enough. I know these things can be scary, and I understand you don't want to put your people at risk, but these things are never going to go away. If you want to acknowledge or help with any of the damage they cause, then it's now or never. The Kiwi farmers are only going to get more aggressive, more personalized, and more persistent until they win or are stopped. And every time you get more territorial, more defensive, and refuse to cooperate with people who want to help, you're helping them get closer and closer to their cutting off and destroying your groups. If this isn't turned around soon, it may be too late. Frankly, it might already be that way. So please, both moderators and people of Waifuism and Waifuist communities out there, we need your help. We need heroes. And most importantly, we need to be friends if we want any hope of a better future. However, if you simply can't accept the Paladins, if you want to argue this some more and try and push us and our efforts away, then come at me. Let's debate this until we agree. As the current leader and chosen successor for our group's founder, I will be your opponent. The Paladins were formed by the Cure under the very basic principle of sticking your neck out to help others, no matter the cost to yourself. So whether it's risking your wrath and bans to try and gain your understanding and support, or risking the abuse and cruelty of the farms to try and keep more emotional people safe, I'll stand for empathy and compassion until the end.